What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Thursday night's Airbrush Down to Your Tricks. We are live. We are now recording and ready for this new project I've been planning for a while. I want to thank everyone for popping in and checking out all the pre-vids this weekend, or this week that I worked on. And we're doing something new. I haven't done this project live. This is something I did a while ago. And it got probably one of the most, when I originally did this skull that I did the time lapse on, which was the skull of the Puerto Rican flag overlay. I did this about 5 years ago, I think, on a bike. And it was the first project I ever did on Instagram that hit over 100,000 views and like 89,000 likes or something like that. So it was a really big thing. So I've had it in kind of my pocket for a while. And I basically did, I had the idea of doing it for years, about doing the vector set with an overlay of a multitude of different flags and different options and different things that you could just overlay however you wanted. So that's kind of what led to this. And tonight is the release of it. So this is the Skull Revolution. This is the Skull Revolution how-to project we're going to do. Let me show you a piece of that. So this is the one we're doing tonight, and this is the first one I did. So the one on the left-hand side of your screen is an actual front fairing of a sport bike I did about 5 or 6 years ago. And then, so to the right is the actual vector overlay. And we're going to go through this whole how-to. And then what I've also done tonight is, this one I'm going to do, because this is the first one that really kind of got all the attention, I'm going to do this one again and do a full feature how-to on it. If you're following through this video, when I get to the overlay section, any of the overlay is going to work pretty much the same order you just do in your color. Whatever flags you want to do. And the flags that are on here, let me see if I can bring up, nope, not that one. So if you look at the title screen here, I know I'm not on camera, but those are the 12 that are on there. So you have the British flag, you have the next one in order is like racing stripes, like a racing stripe flag, so really cool for like bikes and race cars and stuff like that. Then you have the American flag vertical, which is pretty common. We've seen Punisher skulls and things done like that. I did a vertical one. There's the flag of Puerto Rico. The next one can be a multitude because it's a 3-stripe vertical. It can be Irish in this case, or Italian. If you put the Mexican symbol on their flag in the center of it, you could do Mexico, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different countries you can do. Then next one over is the German colors, but again, this is a 3 horizontal. And that you can do any which way you want. It's super easy, just a color change. And then we go down to Australia, which I thought was a really fun one to do. And that one's pretty much Australia. It doesn't change. Next, so you see how Canada and the Irish flag are pretty much the same. It has the maple leaf. And that's how you can add other countries in. You can kind of change that. And I'm going to be having upgrades down the road. Then you have Scotland, which is mine, which is the cross. And that's a few other flags you can do, because you can do red and white, different colors. So there's
the yellow instead of the white cross. That's
so
Sweden,
maybe. I'm not sure. There's a whole bunch there, and then obviously there's American flag again, which is the traditional. And we have Ukraine, which is a double.
Too.
That can be tons of different flags. You can do Poland. You can do a whole bunch of them. And then you have Greece. So that's the ones that are on here now. I am going to develop more in the future as far as add-on packs, but this is the set as it rolls out. So a couple of you guys have already bought it, which is awesome, and you guys are following along, awesome. And I'm recording all this down, and this will be condensed after the live feed to a better kind of a more condensed live feed. So I'll take a lot of this talking stuff out and I'll kind of add to it. But this will be a great. All the content will start from here. And it's probably going to be 2 parts. I'm not sure we're going to get through all this in one session tonight, so we're going to do the skull. And then what I'm going to do, and I have a poll up, is I have the panel I'm working on here. Let me switch to my multicam view. So I have the panel I'm working on here, which I talked about is a 9x13 panel. And this was done with a Nightmare Blue Sparkle pearlescent, sparklescent paint by Createx. So basically black sealer and then that on top. And I have another panel. This is going to be the main project. And I'm going to probably, between this week and next week, I'll do a secondary, which is this cool panel, which is I did a water droplet effect, which I just sprayed water in sealer, on it, and I'll do one of the other flags as a poll up on that.
Honey just donated $20.
Honey, thank you very much, honey, for that. Yay! And we got the poll on Facebook. So basically what I want to do is, out of those 4, which one do you want me to add to next week's feed? So we do this one and then another one. So I want to see which one goes. Other topic I want to talk about, and I want to congratulate Mike Manning. Mike Manning is the first Down and Dirty Trickster official. This week I finally launched the membership tab, which is on the section. So the membership tab is a monthly, basically, thank you. It's very, very low price to thank you and support. You get your own little icons. I'm going to develop some emoji for you guys, stuff like that. It's $2.99 a month, but that also gets you 10% off anything in my store, anytime, all the time, as long as you're a member of Down and Dirty Tricksters.
Facebook see the poll? Can you check?
Yes, Facebook can see the poll.
You cannot tell on the dashboard, like, at all.
Yep. So we got that going on. So if you notice down in the lower side, if when you're on a computer or your phone, it'll say join, and you can join. And we're going to have different membership levels because my future plan is different levels, different tiers are going to have different options to see, like behind the scenes, or we're going to do specialty videos just for members only. That's coming in the near future too. And we'll have some exclusive content for that. So thank you very much for popping in. Thank you, honey, for that super chat. We're going to start getting this how-to going in a second. Let me just check in and look. We got a bunch of questions going up in comments. Before I get going, I just want to see. We got Marshall, what's going on, man? Calvin, Steve, Roy, Paul Clear, Mike Manning. Yes, so Mike Manning says he's a member now. He shows up in green. He's got his little icon. That makes it nice and easy to find people. And of course, Bobby Silva, Michael Cohen, Patrick Redmond. Thank you all for popping in tonight. Michael McClung, Patrick Redmond. Yeah, we got Flex, Daniel Powers. What's going on? Let's see here. We got Dan on both. I'm up for that. We could teach a course together. Hell yeah, Dan. I'd love to work on that. Thanks. Down under tricks. Yeah, there we go. We can combine that, man. Let's talk about it. That's cool. Let's see what else we got here. Flex. Spotlight Artistry. Hope your new digs are working out awesome for you down there. All right. Good. We are good to go. All right, let's talk about paint. Let's talk about what we're using. We always go through what we're using here. And obviously, all our good supplies, keeping our paint dry and clean with our air, with fisheye filters. We're going to use Cratex tonight. The FBS Blue Mask is the one we're using tonight. We're going to be using the Blue Mask. Obviously available at Coast Airbrush. We got my Visionaire system here. And let me show you the nice paint list we got. Paint list super easy tonight. So I got my normal reduction. You guys know, I've said it a bunch of times. How much is it per month? It's $2.99. Is the membership price, and that's just a nice thank you, and you also get you the discount. I'm probably going to add some more stuff to that down the road as well. So I'm going to start setting some membership tiers. I haven't done the other 2 tiers, but they'll be coming. There'll probably be a 5 and a 10 for different things. So that's just going to help me continue to make content and build content. So let's talk about this paint list here. So as I've talked about a bunch of times, I like a 4-to-1 mixture, 40-11 reducer, 40-20, so it's 4-to-1. I like the little extra hot, the quicker flash off time that the 40-20 gives. And then that's, I use my UV less clear, which I did top coat this with, and that's what I mixed a lot of my sparkle into. And my colors tonight, Honey is now the second Down and Dirty Trickster tonight. Welcome. This is new to me, so I'm going to be figuring out what I can do for members and how we can better make this happen. And that's just going to go per month to really help me keep this thing going. So thank you very much, Honey. And okay, so our colors, the actual colors we're using 5068 opaque white, and that's the illustration opaque white. We're using the Candy 20 black, which is 4664 black. We got our illustration 5053. We got our illustration 5060. That's cerulean blue, and that's it. So it's 4 colors in the black. The black, I actually mixed a little bit of purple in there as well. And that's going to be our color palette for this and probably a few of the other ones. All right, guys, we got some members popping in. Thank you so much, guys. That's going to be amazing. You don't know how much that's going to help. We got Michael Cohen, Bobby Silva, Patrick Redmond, Honey, and Mike Manning. You guys are awesome. Like I said, that's going to be 10% off the stores. I'm going to figure a way to do a 10% off with the same code. And you guys who don't have my personal email, make sure how you get the code. I haven't seen how that works, so you should be able to see that code. If it's not, we'll figure it out after this.
You also, just so you know, you can change the color of your badges if you want to.
Yep.
You can customize what color badge you want.
Yeah, you can colorize your badge and the little star icon, and I'm going to develop some emojis and stuff like that for members as well. But I'm going to figure out how to do that discount over on my merchandise store for the t-shirts and hats and things like that as well. So I want members to get that same price. Just haven't figured that out, but I'll probably figure that out. I'll know how that works. So thank you all for doing that.
Also, Michael Stanton.
Michael Stanton's in the house too. Thank you. The Down and Dirty Trickster, which I gotta give Steve Leahy. Is Steve here tonight? I haven't seen Steve.
I haven't seen him yet.
I gotta thank Steve Leahy for coming up with that term because I'm pretty sure he was the first one that said it.
I think so.
I think he came in one night and said, "What's up, all you down and dirty tricksters?" And right then was when it clicked. So I want to thank him for that. Who's over on Facebook? We got my brother Todd. We got James Collier. We got Flexcade. James Ray. Jimmy Fuji. What's going on, everyone? So Facebook is doing what Facebook does. It looks a little slow and glitchy. If you can get over to YouTube, it's a lot better. Double check the sound over on Facebook just to make sure.
I don't really know how.
Just make sure.
You can't check that once it started.
Okay, cool.
But I think no one's saying that they're having issues.
Good.
So
Sound, everyone should be good. All right. So let's talk about my panel here. So this panel here is a 9x12 polymetal panel. And so the polymetal panels are the aluminum with the PVC core. These are available from most sign shops. You can get them at Coast Airbrush, coastairbrush.com. If you look up polymetal on Amazon, you can find them. I'll see if I can get affiliate link and put it in the description for those. And what I did is I sanded this with 400. I did 2 coats of black with a little bit of blue sealer, waterborne sealer, and then I did 2 coats of the sparklescent pearl, and then a coat of straight 40-50 to lock it all in. That way it has something to scuff to, because I don't like scuffing directly on pearl. This is something you don't have to do. This project would work perfect on a dark base coat. You know, just a black panel would be fine. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So we have our panel. We have our skull mask, and I've talked about a bunch of videos before how to do the mask so you can see it. So if you notice, the masks are already, these are kind of weeded, and you can see the black. The black is just graphite powder, or you can use dirt on the floor. Just rub it in, and you'll see all your cuts. I've done the same thing here, and I've just put standard conform transfer tape over the top. I'm going to apply this to our panel using ye old hinge technique. We know that's my preferred method. This is going to be an epic read, Marshall. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been really excited about this one. I really hope a lot of people download it and play with this project because it's fun. You can do a lot with it. Like I said, I have a lot more in development that I want to do with different packs other than flags. Like I wanted to do a POW flag kind of up at the upper side, but I want to morph that just right. There's a whole bunch of other ones I want to morph and get done the right way. So I'll be doing add-on packs to this set. All right. All right, so standard hinge technique is tape across. Now I can fold this down. I can pull back the vinyl and the transfer tape. This is just regular paper transfer tape. This is by R Tape. It's the Conform series. Any mask, auto masking transfer tape will work. The next stage, I'll talk about a specific one that I like. Chris Garcia joining the Down and Dirty Tricksters. Thank you, sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
1:13 a.m.
Jim, thank you for popping in at 1:13 a.m. I appreciate that.
Wow. You should get some sleep. I actually know. I can't talk.
Yeah, like you ever sleep before 1 in the morning. Ever. Did we get an extra skull? Yeah, in the download, there may be an extra one, but... Oh, so Calvin, so there should be a join, like if you're on your phone or computer, where there's subscribe, next subscribe is join, and that's like the membership there. So for those who pop it in late, I've put a membership tier on here. There's going to be a few coming up. This is just the intro one to kind of get me started and make sure I understand how it works before I put all the rest of the tiers out. This one will get you, it's basically a thank you, and it helps me keep everything going. And it gives 10% off as long as you remember to my McKay Fine Art download store. And I'm going to have that set up also for my t-shirt and merchandise store as well. I have to set that up tomorrow. I got to figure out how to put that on there. But what I'll probably do is I'll have that store with the same code, so the code will work the same. Okay, so did the hinge, tape across there, did this side, took the hinge off, pulled the top, and then did the lower. Now I'm pulling the transfer tape. I've done this a bunch of times. If you go back through my prior videos, and I'll have a link to just a separate little short video on how to do this. So we don't have to do this every feed because it does add a long time. So we are going to start with Flag of Puerto Rico. Since this was the one that really made all the most, everyone went really nuts over when I did it. I want to kind of honor that by doing this one again. But anyone doing this video can follow along with whatever they want.
Can you still see the poll on Facebook?
I don't see the poll anymore on Facebook, but I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know. For some reason, I can't see any. It doesn't look like anyone's voted.
Yeah.
Has anyone voted on Facebook?
There's only one person on Facebook, so most people are over here.
Oh, okay.
So. And like I said, there's a poll on top of YouTube on this one about what other flag to do for the secondary. So because when I did this, I just happened to I tagged it, and it just got over 100, well over 100,000 views and 84,000 likes, and it just really. So that's why I wanted to redo this one, and then another one maybe by next week. So I'll have a second one on here. So this is a standard skull. And if you followed along with the, what's it called, skull? The Uncle Sam one, the Uncle Scully project. The Uncle Scully is a similar skull, similar process, but that's done on white. So you work on the lowest to the lowest to the highest. So you work from the shadows. Now we're on a dark surface. We're working the opposite way. We work in the opposite way, so we're going to start with what's in the foreground. So you look at a skull, and like this guy here, which I painted with chrome, which is always a good way to do it. You can look at your highlights. Let me switch to camera 3 here. When you look at this, you can see what the brightest objects are, and what's in the foreground.
Hold on. So bids start at 200, but someone said I'm in at 1. Okay. I'm confused.
So the bids, I don't think anyone's put a $200 bid in right now.
So Chris said I'm in at 150.
So Chris is on a 150 bid.
Is Honey saying that she's bidding?
I'm not sure if Honey was just answering a question if someone starts it, or if Honey started it, if Honey's bidding at 200. Please clarify. Okay, so we look at a skull. What's the foreground? What's in the foreground, and what's the most prominent?
Honey bid 200.
Honey bid 200. There we go. So that's clarification. So Honey started the bid with 200. Got a little confusing. We got it. Thank you, Honey. Awesome, awesome. So we have our skull. We're going to start with the top down. So we're going to go from foreground to background instead of background to foreground. Okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to start with an eclipse. I'm going to use my Takumi Eclipse.
First at 225.
And I'm just going to start with white.
Chris, do you hear that? Okay.
Chris, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to do my best to get to everyone as they come through, as I go through, but with the recording for the how-to. I want to make sure we can edit stuff out correctly. And all right, so foreground to background, the teeth. So basically, when we did the Uncle Scully project prior, we started with the back teeth and pulled them and went up because we were shadowing. So this tooth was creating a shadow on this tooth, that tooth, ba, 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 ba. Now we're going the opposite way, okay? So we can do both rows at once, and how I like to do it, the first one you got to do a single tooth, okay? You can save them if you want. There's not really a need to, but. And then, remember when I did the teeth, I just shadowed on the edge of the tooth and let the overspray kind of get there. This is similar, but you do the highlight in the middle. Okay, so you do that highlight in the middle. And that is going to automatically give you that radius. Okay, that radius is going to set up. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit more on this. There we go. And when I go to the next one, see now I can go to the left and right. So now you can pull off two at a time. And you can work right back. And it's just a soft dagger stroke. So I'm just doing a soft dagger stroke right in the middle of the tooth. Basically, when you're looking at this, you can see that highlight. That's what we're going for. We're going for that highlight right there. And remember, because we're going to be overlaying the flag coloring, we're not trying to do detail here. We're just trying to get general tone and shape and a lighter background. So that way when we overlay the flag and do the semi-transparent colors or candies, depending whichever you choose, you don't lose, you're not worried about losing a bunch of detail. We're kind of in that mid-range level. That's where we want to be, okay?
New member.
Yeah, we got another member, Michael. Thanks for popping in on a membership. You guys don't know how much that means to me. It's awesome. That's going to, just help this page grow and grow and grow. Because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes time that goes into these things. Like, I started prepping this on Tuesday. Going through all the vectors, getting everything set. And then did all the promo stuff yesterday. And then today's been pretty much getting the video set up and ready to go. But you see how nice and simple that is. It just gets you that. And you can just kind of do an overlay kiss. Remember, I'm trying to get a nice shape and tone. I'm not trying to do any major detail at this point. I'm pretty sure when I did the Uncle Scully one, I think I did the teeth last. When they do this, do the teeth first. Now I do this for, now if you guys, my other downloads that work like this, sorry, I just was reading ahead. Another trick I learned from working with Rob Churchill and some other guys, when you're doing teeth, if you're masking, you do the teeth first. Then if you want the teeth to stay white, because the teeth are always the whitest part of a skull, no matter what, because they're enamel and not bone. That's why you see like old skulls, the teeth are still brighter.
Oh, Gary just donated $25.
Gary just donated $25. Oh, so technically, honey, so technically, I'm just going to keep it in mind for anyone trying to overbid. You did a $20 donation. You did a $20 super chat.
So she's
So
270.
So you're at two. So the bid officially is at 270. If anyone's trying to overtake, we'll just kind of keep that in mind.
Should I write down 270 instead?
Yeah, write down. Just put like Just put the $20 chat.
Yeah, I'll just do plus 20.
Yeah. So that way we kind of know. Big Squatch is a member. You guys are amazing, 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 amazing. I'm gonna work left to right. Oh, what I was saying, so you can make these teeth the whitest, and so you can technically put all these back on, and then do the whole thing, and then pull all the skulls off all the teeth at the end, and you'd have really nice, bright white teeth. Because there's kind of a, when I've done the reference image, so see how the teeth, this one, the bottom are red, and the top are white. If you wanted to, you could go down the bottom and just have the teeth always stay white. Calvin Jones! Damn, son! I'm going to try to get those crowd cheers in here. Yeah, I'm going to put that one up there. That'll be nice. Oh, so what did Daniel say before I go any further? Just double check. Join button is on the desktop, but not on the phone. So if you want to join... Okay, so the join button you'll see if you're on like a desktop computer, but on a phone, you're not going to see that. So all you guys who joined, thank you very much. And then hopefully you figure out how everyone can change their own colors. And that will be amazing. All right, so we got 3 more little chiclets here to do. But notice how and this is the opaque white. You still get a couple passes with the opaque white, but you notice I got a little tone with them, and I don't need to have, I'm not trying for a super amount of detail here. I'm just trying to get tone in, okay? All right. So, cheers, everyone. And this is a fitting glass for tonight. And tonight we're doing Clyde Mays tonight. Clyde Mays was introduced to me. This is a really good one. This was introduced to me by a good friend Jim Vales out in California. And whenever I get that, I think of Jim. Okay, so now what we're doing is these have kind of fold back. So I've done this. Some people like to have their vinyl cut all section like this. I like doing a fold, almost like I'm doing like a paper cut fold. So I'll show you how I work it. Basically, I'm pulling off the face mask, but like right here it stops, and right here it stops. That's fine. You're just kind of going to fold this back. Because if you don't have a plotter, guys, you can do this project. You just have to do it with paper, and you would do the same cuts and folds with paper. Okay? Click the dollar symbol. Oh, okay, so the same dollar symbol to the right, the bottom right corner, which you would do for super chats, might also bring up the membership. Is that what it's doing, Max? Cool. So now we're going to be doing the cylindrical shading. We've talked about core shading, core highlights. We're going to be doing the eyebrow here. So if you look on the eyebrow, you see the way the light hits it. It's a really bright, strong, but it doesn't go all the way to the very edge because the skull rolls under. So it's a core highlight. So I'm putting a soft stroke right here and right here. But I'm not trying to flood it, because that overspray is going to get up to this edge. And I'm just coming down. I'm kind of keeping my airbrush away from the fold. I'm coming down to the kind of the side of the temples right there. Okay. Now, John Stein is a down and dirty trickster. I gotta come up with a cool shirt idea. For Down and Dirty Trickster, for the Down and Dirty Tricksters.
You could do a dragon made out of an airbrush.
Right? Alright, so see how I'm kind of folding this in now, okay? So now I can come around the bottom of the eyes. And just that core highlight. And you can do some minor like detail stuff, but I'm going to save a lot of that because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do how to take some texture effects and add that in to really kind of work this out. And this is a great lesson standalone if you're not going to do the flag. If you just want to do really cool skulls that have fire around and stuff like that, this skull is so damn useful. And if you download it, you can get a T design that says, yeah, okay. You know, you can size this up and down, rotate it, stretch it, do all sorts of stuff. It's just a very universal skull that I've been using this skull a long time. So I'm just kind of setting that there. Now look, I'm folding this back here. I'm going to do right here. I'm just kissing that edge on both sides. And now look, I'm going to pull here. And I'm pulling down. And I'm pulling this edge. So see, it's all this is done. It's set up everything for me. So I know where everything is. I'm going to fold these eyebrows back here. And don't get too stressed if you have little lines or you see in edges, because you'll see what I mean. I'm just folding these back. And I'm painting just that core highlight on the lower edge. And then right to the edge of the nose. Okay, that's it. And now I can pull off this. And if you pull straight up, these will just tear. These two will stay. So let me grab some texture effects. We'll grab some smaller ones. Okay, now that I'm here, I want to start with a little texture. And don't spray too dry. You want to go down a little wet. You don't want to be spraying chalk, you know. You want to have a little wet going on there so it bites into your base coat. Remember, the flag is going to be covering a lot of that, but you're still going to see a lot of this stuff through it. But a lot of this is just to set up so when we do detail later, we know where everything is, because we'll see it through the red and the blue. Day of the Bug Gregory, what's going on? Oh, to everyone waiting for panels, all the panels are cleared, they're all wet sanded, they're all pretty much buffed. I think tomorrow will be finish up day, get them all finished, polished, we'll box them up and get them out to you guys first of the week. Okay, now we get to the main. You can actually pull these guys. Pull the left and right, like the temples. And this just, you know, I'm not trying to create super hard edges here. It's more of a registration for when we go through later and do all the detail. Because you're going to be able to see all this through the red, okay? So the next key thing, this is, I think, one of the most important parts about doing a skull, is getting this highlight right. You can almost mess everything else up, but if you get this wrong, it doesn't work as well. This gives you the pop, okay? From the center of the nose up. Should be really bright. You look at a skull, look at where that highlight is. The brightest part is that nose, okay? If we're going to zoom in here. Look where that highlight is. That's your brightest one. And then just under the nose and the septum going down to the teeth. Okay, those are your brightest ones. Okay, so that's what we want to focus on. Those two. Okay, this is like Skull 101. But it gives you the best bang for your buck is by getting these in the right spot. From the septum, it goes right down, right between the center of those teeth. It's just a soft dagger stroke. Then what I do is from the left and right of the nose, I come down to the next, between the next two teeth. But the center is still the brightest. Okay? Now from here, I'm coming down, kind of off this cheekbone, how it gets kind of hard and comes down here. Then from here, it's just a soft dagger stroke up. Soft dagger stroke up. And I'm just setting it all up. The other place where it's bright here is just under the eye sockets. Get that nice and bright. But because this is only midway through, because we're not trying for detail, we have a lot. We can bring all this stuff out later, after we do the red and the blue overlay. Okay. Think of this as your underpainting. Okay. This is kind of your underpainting, your wash, your tone. You're kind of building, you're shaping the under sculpture. And then the color can go on top. And this way of thinking is going to help even when you're not doing overlay flags. It's just a great way to build skulls. So for all you members signing up, thank you so much. There is ways for you to change your colors. I don't know how yet. And your little star icon, you know, you can pick your colors there. And then there's a way I can create specific emojis for you guys and stuff. And I'm going to do that, I think, at some point next week. Once I figure out how to upload them and create them. So this is a great time to just work on some shaping. Because the goal is not to have to go back with too much white afterwards, is to let this kind of shape it, but just not overdo it. So that's pretty much the top done. Let's leave the eye sockets. Now we're going to do the lower jaw, because the upper's already done. We're just going to fold these back. Just like that, okay? You're folding those two. Just that little bit there. So that's the front part of the mandible. And it kind of tucks behind. Now I can pull the whole bottom off. Go a little bit out there. Zoom out a little bit more here. There we go. You see, this comes together pretty darn quick. And the nice thing is, like, I'm recording this on all the cameras, so I'm gonna go, like I said, I'm gonna go back through and edit. And we'll make a more condensed video that doesn't have all the bid talk and membership talk and stuff like that. It's just about the how-to. So like this stuff I'm talking to you now, I'm going to clip this out. Yeah, we'll cut this out later. But we'll get back into it. So the jaw. So we got this ready. Now I can kind of come down from that. Hit the outer edge. Core highlight here. Core highlight the chin, because it's got to have a butt chin. And I have a butt chin, even though you never know it. When I think of the chins, I think of, what's his name? Damn it. Evil Dead. The chin, the chin, the chin. Damn it. Can't believe I blanked out. When you clear your panels, do you ever use speed clear? You know, sometimes, but not really. I'll use speed clear if I gotta get something out quick. But speed clear is so expensive that I only use it when I need to use it. Sometimes I'll use it on my panels when sometimes I'll use it on my panels if I'm gonna do a double clear, like I'm gonna clear it for high build, and I got a lot of striping or leafing, and then I'll sand it the next day. I'll put a speed clear on it because I only need like 2 coats, then I can buff it after that. Sometimes I'll do that. Bruce Campbell, thank you, Dan. The chin. And then we're going to softly hit that back. And then just like we did the strokes up here, I'm just going to slowly put some soft ones, some soft daggers down here. So this is just white. This is just opaque illustration white. You could use Wicked White. And it's just to get all that tone in, okay? Now, that's pretty much the majority of the skull. That's all the pieces. Now I can pull the center. I can pull the eyes. Now I'm going to do traditional skull. I'm not going to put eyes, actual eyes in here. You surely could. I want to keep it somewhat like just a regular skull with no eyes. So the fly kind of rolls in. These little things, it's just kind of markers where if you want to put eyeballs, you could. Or just for two sections of the skull, you can kind of use it. Yeah, Jay Leno's got a chin, but Bruce Campbell's got the chin. Okay, now, so there's a mistake a lot of people make with skulls. So if you look at the reference, let me see if I can bring the big one up here. So you look at the reference, see how you can see the red into the skull and like the star going into the skull, into the socket? Because skulls' eyes are sockets, okay? They're not holes. So the light's actually going to go in. So if you're looking at the top down, let's go to the top down cam. See what this is doing? The light's reflecting off the socket. You can see inside. But a lot of people just block these out. Okay, and that's the mistake not everyone, a lot of mistake beginners and amateurs make is because they make it a hole and not a socket. Same thing with the nose. You can see reflections inside. You can see the septum going straight up through. Okay, so you really need to understand that, not just make it a hole. Your skull is going to look a lot better if you do that. So from here, from the same position, soft dagger stroke up, let it fade up into the nose. You can do a little bit of white in here. You can take a little bit of texture effects. And you can go in and just make a little something going on there. Okay, you don't have to put much up in here. Same thing with the eye. Just let that kind of roll in. Because when we do the detail, we can bring in like some harsh lines, but you want to have a little color there, so that way the eye socket can roll in and roll in, okay? And that, in the future, I'd probably just, if I was putting eyeballs, I'd use that. If not, I would take that out at the beginning. So there's really no need for that little cut line. And then we're going to leave in here, this is, you'll see background through the jaw. So we're going to leave that. If you've lost your delineation from this one, a good little tip. The Pocket Graphics by Pocket Pyro. Fits in really nice right there. And you can bring that cheekbone back out if you lost it. Patrick Redmond, Bruce Campbell reminds me of, he does. Totally does. That is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I want to thank so many people for popping in tonight. We got a few over on Facebook. We got everyone over here on YouTube. We got 64 of you guys. Lots of down and dirty tricksters coming in to help out. support the cause. Alright, so I'm just going to make sure we get over all this detail. I'm just going to be putting some little things. And we're going to talk about how the next phase is going to go. I know in this one, this looks really bright. I think I got to, give me a second here. I think my ISO is up way too high. There we go, that's more like it. Sorry about that, my camera setting was a little too high. That's a little more what it looks like. There you go. So now you can see the delineations. Gary, what is going on, man? Gary's, your painting's ready to go. Got lots of stuff ready to go out here. Oh yeah, lots of people watch on the TV. So a lot of people do is they have the TV for the big, and then they can comment from their phone.
Yeah, I just learned you could sync up your phone app with your TV app.
Yeah, you can sync up both now easy.
Yeah, I got a notification for it today.
Yeah, finally. That only took forever. I don't know why it took so long. Okay, so this is basically the done stage. Now what you have to do, in the plot, when you plot, there's these 3 circles that are off to the side. Okay, I'm going to take these off. These are registration circles. The 3 circles here line up with the 3 circles on the plot. Okay, and this is where you can line them up and line them up, and it'll sync up perfectly with the one in the center. That's how I've created this. And I did this for motorcycle tanks. It's a little trickier on motorcycle tanks because you have to curve it the same way, but at least you can get things kind of square. The other option you could do, which makes life a little easier, instead of using the blue mask, I didn't want to confuse everyone with a whole bunch of different stuff, is you can use the green mask, which is the FBS blue, like this, but it's a clear green, it's a transparent green. So that works out pretty well, too. And this is a good time, too, to check your work. Where's my... This is usually where I use a tack rag to tack things off, but I don't think I have a tack rag up here. So I'm just going to gently take a paper towel and just give it a rub. Get anything loose off here. And you want to give it time to dry. You want to make sure that you're not putting it on cured paint. So if you're doing solvent here, make sure the solvent's dry. If you're doing water-based, make sure your water base is fully dry before you put a mask on here. Because you have people, I get pull-up and delams. If you're worried about that, before you put a big amount of masking, you can put tape and just double check. It's really not going to matter because you got to find out one way or the other. But it's nice to know. The majority of the reasons why people get delamination and paint delamination at this stage is, remember when I was putting that first coat of paint down, I said, keep it a medium wet. You don't want to put the airbrush far back and mist and let the paint dry in the air before it hits the surface, because what you're going to have is what's called airborne loss of solvent. And what that does is when it hits the paint that's already down and sanded and prepped, it's too dry to bite in. You need to have a little chemical bonding there, or even mechanical bonding. You want it to kind of settle into those sanding scratches. But if you just dust, you'll have that dust layer. Then you go to paint, and you have paint layer. And when you put masking on it, that wet paint is on top of dust, dry layer. So you want to have that nice medium wet contact, especially that first couple stages. I did put a little bit of 40-50. That was a good question by John Steins. I did put a little, this is water-based, so I'm using the illustration colors. When I'm doing illustration colors for automotive use like this, and I'm not going to be doing erasing, and I'm going to do base coating, I add about 5 to 10% 40-50 to make the paint stickier and give it a more automotive bite and a feel to it. It makes it a little firmer, heavier body, and that helps with masking. Even when I haven't done the 40-50, the same technique works. You just have to be a little bit more careful with that soft overspray mist because it's designed. The illustration colors are designed to be erased. They stay soft for quite a while. Therefore, masking can pull it up if it's too dry. So you just gotta play with it. But yeah, I put a little 40-50, and then my reduction, which is the 4 parts 40-11 and 1 part 40-20. I find that 40-20 extra heat really gets into the base that's already down. Remember, this base coat was down and a little 40-50 over it. So it's reactivating that 40-50 just enough to give a chemical bond. Calvin Jones is now a Dirty Trickster. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Cheers. Cheers. All right. So, if you're going to do the American flag, you would put the American flag down here. It'll be the same colors I'm using tonight. When I'm doing a Canadian flag, same thing. Put the Canadian flag down. We run the same way. But we are going to do the flag of Puerto Rico, since that's what started this whole craze in the first place. And a few people on here, I think, are excited about the Puerto Rican flag, right? Where's Leahy? Oh, I see Steve over on Facebook. Was Steve over here?
It's weird seeing him on Facebook.
It's weird seeing him on Facebook. Okay. So, let's see what else we got here for questions. Rafael Cruz, beautiful, my country flag. Awesome.
I love the Puerto Rican flag.
I like the Puerto Rican flag, too.
It's one of my favorite flags, honestly. It's so pretty.
You got to educate some people. Puerto Rican flag is also an American flag. It's part of the country. I've seen some videos like, take that shirt, that's not a U.S. flag. Actually, it is. It's like a state flag.
I saw this video, I think you saw it too, years ago, like Captain America is actually just Captain Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah, the Captain America, if you look at the way it's a single star with the stripes.
With the 3 red stripes.
It's really Captain Puerto Rico.
The Puerto Rican flag.
Steve's here. He's just 2x3, so he's hard to see. All right, so that's awesome.
That's good.
So same deal. I'm going to do a hinge technique. I got my registration points lined up. I'm using the transfer tape here is by R Tape. This is, I'm going to switch out here to just a single cam so you can see it. This is a clear transfer tape. This is by R Tape. This is AT75. R Tape AT75. This is my preference mask transfer tape when I'm using blue mask when it has to stretch. Because this transfer tape will actually stretch and actually pull with the material on a curve really nicely. And if you warm it up, it melts with it beautifully. So say if I'm going to pull up, I'm going to fold back like here. I'm going to pull this hinge. And now we're going to lay this down. See how that lays right in there? And the registration, I'm off by a 32nd of an inch. I think we can manage with that. And hell, if I do this in one take, which it looks like I might, I'll add the other one. I'll do maybe the Canadian flag, whatever the poll is, next week. Or we'll add another one, and then I can use those 2 in the actual how-to video. I'm going to pull this one down. I pulled the hinge out, slide that out. And there we go. Now we can take the transfer tape off. Now at this stage, it depends what you preference. At this stage, it depends what your preference is. I mixed up Createx Illustration Scarlet and Cerulean Blue. And I added a little extra 40-50, so they're a nice semi-transparent, which they already are. You can also mix up candy if you want to do a candy. Candy be a little bit brighter in some ways, a little more dynamic in some ways. It's really personal preference. I don't use the candies as much for stuff like this because I don't need to see through it. If I want to maintain, like if I was doing this, whole skull in a detail, like on a white panel with all the black detail, and I didn't want to lose any of the detail or kind of merge it, I would use a candy, so it would be super transparent. This, I'm not trying for that. Okay, so we got him there. Pro tip, don't forget this, because nobody wants to see 3 dots on a final panel. Cover them up. Does anyone else have the Eddie? Do you have a flag? Nope, I don't know what that is. Jeff Styles, what's going on, man? Jeff, you done painting planes yet? It was good to chat with Jeff today. Alright, now the star and the stripes are already white, so I don't have to do anything there. That's just maintaining. I want to pull the blue field first. Now you can save this because you may want to put it back, but you don't really need to. Look at that. No paint peel. Let's watch it peels off. Yeah, no. But this is where everyone starts, people will get the problem right now. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. Even me doing it live, sometimes I've been doing this 30-something years, like, is it going to happen? Is it going to delaminate? Did I make everything right? So, Keon comments, when buffing panels, how do you keep them fixed so they don't fly off the table? Dude, I one-hand it. One hand on the panel, one hand on the buffer. That's typically how I've done it. Sometimes I'll take Gorilla Tape, and I will tape it to the panel, like tape it down. To the surface with like a bunch of layers of Gorilla Tape. But yeah, I kind of one-hand it. I'll kind of keep one hand here and polish here, and I'll keep moving around the surface when I do it. That's kind of what happens. Hello, Chris Garcia. You are the man.
Does that technically make it more than honey bit now?
I don't think so, because...
He had 225 plus 50.
Okay.
75.
All right, so Chris, Kaylee's asking a question. Are you adding that on top of your 225, or are you retracting the 225 and just doing the 50 now? Because of that, you'd be 275, so you'd be the high bid technically. So that's where it gets confusing with the super chats. And we don't mind doing it. We just got to make sure we're clear on, is that your bid plus, or is it just your 50 for now?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Honey's at 300. So it's got to go there. Kiar calls, thank you, sir. There we go.
Plus the 20. No, that's just with the 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kaylee's got it figured out. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so like I said here. So you can be doing...
Okay.
Kaylee's going to keep track of that without me talking about it too much right now. Okay, so next stage is the blue. Like I said, you can do candy blue here and layer it. I'm doing the... Let me bring up my list here. So I'm using the 5060 Cerulean Illustration. Okay.
Chris, your bid before was 225, not 250.
So basically, I think we're both tied at 300. So
we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out as we go. All right. So the key when you're doing this is not to flood it. If you're doing candy, you don't want to flood it with candy. With this, same thing. I'm going to slowly tint, but I'm still keeping it kind of that medium wet. Okay, so what we're going to do as far as the bids, we're going to lock the bid prices in at your bid plus your super chats. Okay, let's get that figured out. And from here on out, just whatever that is, just add the bid. Don't add any more super chats because it'll just get confusing.
Yes.
There's too many. And anyone else bidding from here on out, don't mix super chats and bids together.
Or after you do a super chat, send a message explaining how you want to do it.
Right, yeah. If you do a super chat and just include it, say it's like $200 bid plus $50 super chat.
Exactly.
Wherever it's at. Because I think you're both at 300 right now.
You are now, which is very confusing.
Which is awesome, and I thank you, and I love you both. So I just want to make sure I don't mess it up.
Okay.
All right, so now you see with the colors, I have both. Because I laid it soft, I maintain some of that delineation. So when I go in for detail later, I still have the dark nose socket. I still have the eye. I still have all this on here, and that was just with a little bit of blue. And this was a cerulean blue, so not a ton. Very little paint actually used in this project. Christopher isn't the only one. Nope. Gonna have to start doing silent bidding on the side for people.
I wish there was like an app you could connect.
So okay, so Honey is
320 with super chat.
that's where she's at with super chat. So that's where that's what she was meaning.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
320. We're good now.
We're good. So
We're
320 is the bid.
From now on, if you're gonna send a super chat, add in the notes that it's this plus your bid, or don't send in a super chat until after bidding's
Awesome.
closed.
We got to figure it out. You guys are awesome.
There's Steve. He's here.
Steve! Thank you, Steve. I don't know if you saw, we were talking about it earlier, but like Patrick Redmond's, he's the down and dirty trickster. And so is Honey, and so is Chris, and so is anyone lighting up green. We've done memberships here. So anyone for the $2.99 membership to join up can now get 10% off anything in my store, any downloads, and we're going to add that to the e-store as well for the shirts and swag and stuff. And thank you very much. It's going to help this channel keep on going. Okay, so the flag. Get the stripes right. Okay, this goes for the American flag. It goes for Puerto Rico. Goes for anyone.
Every flag with stripes.
Any flag with stripes. Put them in the right goddamn place. So center is red. See how prominent that blue is? I didn't put much, but see how much that pops out? Now I'm going to take the top off. Skip that. I'm going to go down here. So like I said, this is where you can decide if you want to have red teeth or not. If you didn't want the red teeth, you would put it all in, put all the teeth back, or you could cut a silhouette and just lay the teeth in, and the teeth could stay white. I like the way the teeth ended up in red, so I'm going to leave it there. Now, what I find is you can just put this back in sections, because you don't have to worry about here because the mask is there. You just want to line this back up. So I'm just going to, I usually put it back like a little bit and let it, just let it kind of, what am I trying to say? I don't know. Just let it kind of hang back a little bit. That way the red can overlap just a hair. I lost the... Nope, that was the wrong one. So, oh, there it is. Duh. Just letting that get back on there. And if you don't have this, that's being a pain. Just take tape. That's all you got to do. Just take a little tape. It doesn't have to be on there super strong. The only issue I'm starting to have is where's the temperature's getting up in here, and Trying not to let my sweat reactivate the illustration colors, because that can happen. Alright, so I just gotta make a barrier. I don't need to like cover a crazy amount.
Oh, 350 plus Chris's super chat.
Okay, so you are at 400.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Looks like we're gonna have to finish this one tonight, people. All right, let me dump out my blue. Let's get the red. And now we are doing illustration Scarlet. That is 50-53. The same thing, I put a little 40-50 in there. This is where I like illustration colors or like colors versus candies. Because when you're doing candies here, a lot of times you get like a real pinkish effect that's hard to get rid of until you get high coverage. Whereas the illustration red, you don't get that as much. So what I'm doing, I'm going to put it heavier in the dark sections. And just kind of letting it work. And this would be the same thing if I was doing the American flag. I do the same order. I do the blue section first, cover that, and then do the red. Canadian flag, same thing. The Italian flag and the Irish flag are super easy because the colors don't touch each other. They're separate by white, so you just go boom, boom, you're done. I could have done the Canadian flag at half the time. But see, now I'm keeping all that red. It's staying nice and rich. I don't have any pink going on, but I still have that nice delineation of color. And now I'm going to pull back my mask. And now I get that nice separation. See right here I got a little bit of a dark edge because of the red overlap, but that's fine. That little overlap isn't going to kill me. I did have a little spot, my fingers really sweaty, and because the paint's on this so light, I did get a little bit of pull, which is going to be easily mitigated. Because I'm just going to tone that back on and get rid of that. I'm going to do this all before my other mask comes off. Simple, easy peasy. Alright, now I can pull this off. Ta-da. This project's like Christmas all over the place. Because you keep getting unmasked and seeing really cool transitions the whole time. Don't forget that poll that's up there, because I think I might just do another one for next week, or do another one that I'll record and add to this video for the actual how-to video about, I'm going to do another country's flag so you can see both. Okay, so I think you're both tied at 450. No. Okay. You're at 4. Okay, so tied at 450. Let's just say total from here on out. Awesome. Little Christmas roast chickens. Oh my god, that's funny. All right, and there you have it. That's pretty much. This is going to work for no matter which flag you did. So if you do the American flag, this is the stage you'd be at. So you notice by using that illustration color as opposed to the candy, it's not, like super glossy. It ties in really nice. Whereas the candy, it's almost too much, I think. That's why I like using the color. But the automotive side, the candies might work better because sometimes automotive reds and blues are tough to get translucent and smooth without being grainy. Whereas candies come in better. Whereas water-based, sometimes you can get a softer transition. And let's switch up to the top down can. Look at that! Look at that pop. It's definitely not as pink as it looks here.
No, it's very red. It looks very good.
It's more, yeah. It looks weird depending on. Yeah, this angle's always tough. That's kind of more what it looks like. So at this point. You can be subtle and bring in a little bit of highlighting here, but I would probably add a little bit more 40-50 so your white is more transparent, or use a regular illustration white thinned down with some 40-50. So it's Michael Cohen. Thank you, sir. Yep. So the Mexican flag is kind of there. The only thing I didn't do yet, and it will come eventually. Let me bring up the titles for your reference. So if you look in the second one from the top on the top row, second to the last, if we put the logo that's the Mexican flag in the center of that, you could totally do it. It would work the same way, and I would put it. So you would just need to have the vector of that, and that may come in future ones. I just couldn't get, I couldn't get them all in there, but you could. So if you took that one, the Italian or the Irish flag one, and what that center stripe is, and you put the symbol, you can do all sorts of flags. I have a whole other set planned to add on to this, and there'll be once you already buy the big set, I'm going to be routinely doing very low cost add-on sets that'll have other flags in. You can develop your own overlays as well. I want to do the Brazilian flag. I want to do. Where else did I think of that I wanted to do was cool? There's a whole bunch of them I wanted to do. Just can't do too many. What tape is? So the masking. This is the FBS blue mask that we've used the whole time. This tape is the FBS gold masking tape. All right, so before I start doing like black detailing and stuff, I can bring out a little bit of highlighting without killing. I don't want to kill the red, so I want to be cautious where I put it. I just want to do a little bit. So you just want to highlight the edges a little bit here and there. And that's why I kind of reduced it down, so I don't get too much, I don't white it completely. But see, I can just start doing soft dagger strokes. And just kind of work out some detail, do a little bit of a nose bridge. And we can do a lot of this at the end as well, but I'm just going to do a little bit of it now. And remember, this background has a nice blue metallic. And I think what I might do is I'll do a kind of either a fiery glow or background glow around this when it's done. Kelly, what time is that?
9:14.
9:14. Wow, it wasn't bad for an hour and 14 minutes with chatting.
I know. This one was a good one.
But you can see the value of a project like this. If you have this method in your arsenal on how to paint like this, it doesn't have to be the same image every time, but if you understand this process, how fast you could do this and make money at it, have a really good quality image is key. When I do these images, it's not to like do this the same every time. Because I don't want you to do the same every time on someone else's work or someone else's bike, blah, 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 blah. You can obviously put it on people's bikes and work with it. But change it up. Use this for the lesson, learn how to do it, make some cool images, some cool reference artwork for your clients to come in. It's just fun to do. It's just a really cool learning project. Because you realize how fast you can pull off an image with quality, color pop, depth, and not a lot of pain. Right? Well, no, the whole thing about the Captain America, Dan, is if you hold the Puerto Rican flag vertical, it's the same Captain America's chest with the star and the 3 stripes going down, does it? Do you prep your panel first by scuffing only? Yeah, so no, what I do is the panel itself was hit with 400, and then I put the autoborne sealer on that. I let that dry. I scuff that back, and I can take any dust nibs or anything in it. I scuff that back. Then I put the base color, in this case the flake with the 4050 in it, put 2 coats of that down, and then I put a single coat of 4050 just to kind of protect the flake so I could scuff the flake down without scratching the flake. Okay, so this is where you can decide for yourself if you're painting this for yourself. It's going to depend on your freehand level ability. You could technically take another skull that has all the detail like the beginning and layer it back in line of points and do the reverse like we did the Uncle Scully projects before. Regilio, POW flag is on the list. Yep, that's on the list. Marine flag. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a whole bunch down the road. Just kind of add them on periodically. And like, it's pretty easy. The POW flag is really just that logo, stretching it. So I would probably put it in the forehead, and then it'll be a black skull. So it'd be a little tricky to paint, but you could definitely pull it off. So if you're not confident in freehanding all the detail, like the next step I'm going to be doing, then you would do. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. For the black detail, if you're not confident in freehand, what you would do is put the mask back on and then do the reverse, like we did the Uncle Scully. Pull the eyes, detail the eyes, pull the nose, and do it in the reverse, the direct reverse order of what we did here. Okay, that's what you would do. But for me, I am just going to go in freehand. So I mixed up a candy black with a little bit of black, a little bit of purple candy in it. And I'm just going to freehand this baby. And here's my paint all mixed up. I've already strained it. We've talked about paint straining a lot in this channel. I do it quite a bit. So now, the reason I use a candy black, or I would take, if I was using color, I would use black illustration or black base coat. I would add a little purple transparent base or transparent candy into it, and then I would start to do all the detail work from there. Okay, that way you don't want to use solid black at this stage. You want to be using something transparent. But now I have all my detail. I'm actually going to thin this a little more. Because all my detail's there, it's really easy for me to just start following all my detail lines. And I can darken these up. and just start pulling out all the details. So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to hit here, I'm going to give it kind of a secondary fold over. I'm going to run a little crack. What I might have to do with this one is, after I'm done with editing a how-to video down, is maybe see if I can have it translated. Maybe I can have Gerald translate. I think that would be kind of cool. So I think the color's still a little too dark. I'm going to add a little bit more 40-50, a little bit more reducer to it. Squadron as well. Oh yeah, yeah, Jolly Roger skull could be cool because you have a skull on a skull. But it's endless possibilities. It's just a fun project to do. Like I said, you really can learn a lot from it. You can get a lot of different, just stuff from it. I have a little, see that right there? That's a little chip I did in the paint. So look, I'm just going to go here. I'm going to embrace that. I'm just going to put a little extra little chip in the skull. Good to go. I'm going to hit that nice shadow here to separate out the kind of eyebrow, which skulls don't really have eyebrows. Use my pocket graphics just to help delineate that. Little details come up there. You can see how quickly this is shaping up. Oh man, yeah, Steve, I'll give you these. You should do one of these on a blade. Yeah, Steve, 543. Flag skull. Like I said, so this is where you decide how you can freehand. Or if you want to put the mask back on, you can surely do that as well. I tend not to at this point. I think you have enough here where this is where you want to be practicing your freehand. You have all the structure already in. So you're not trying to draw, you're just trying to fill in the shading. Remember, you're not trying to do lines. I mean, I got a few lines going here, but it's mainly for shading. It's usually for tone. The only one I'm doing a line for is this one as it comes down into like these eyebrows. Just kind of coming up like that. Shadowing that. And if you follow some of my Pack of Skulls tutorials, all the same techniques are in there. 87 minutes late. Yeah, you didn't miss much. So I'm just toning that. Remember when I talked about like the nose septum being the most prominent? When you're doing the highlighting, yes. When you're doing the shadowing, you want this. You want this ridge and that shadow under the eyes to really give it that scowl. Remember, let that red tone in. I'm going to switch back here to 3/4. You can see a little different tone on everything. A little bit more. Want a little bit more texture in the skull. And how do you get texture? Details. I want to thank everyone tonight who's been joining up for the membership to help out this channel, keep it running. All the super chats, all the bids for everyone. It's an amazing night. I knew this one was going to be when I started it, and that's why I've held this one for years. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, and I kind of had to just wait for a time in my shop life where I could dedicate the time to refining every one of these skulls, every one of these masks to be right. That's a lot of playing around, because every one of these files, you have 7 different downloads available. Because different programs, I have to make it work for like multiple plotters, multiple Cricut cutters, craft cutters, machinists, stuff like that. So a lot of work goes into making this file set. And then I knew I wanted to get the tone right, and I wanted to have a nice advertising behind it and just get a lot going, because I knew this was going to be a really good one to do. And I didn't want to mess it up. And I knew if I did, I was going to do the Puerto Rican flag again for the first one, so I didn't want to mess that up. Having some friends and some family and people I know and different variations. There's certain cultures you just don't want to. You just got to make sure it's right, because you'll hear about it. So I'm going to shadow the top of the skull here. Again, this is that transparent, like a transparent candy, purple black. This way it gives that nice pop. I want to thank everyone who's been popping in tonight. Alright, let's get here. Let's get that nose worked out. I come down from the nose like this, kind of trace it out, and then I do 2 little daggers. Just to left and right, there. You can kind of see. I'm going to try to get this. See the 2 little dagger strokes there? That just helps kind of separate. We'd have to drive up there and get you a mess. Yeah. And this is also a good example about not having to copy everyone else's work, but stay in the same theme. So I am not the first one by millions to do a flag overlaying a skull. Anyone who says there are is full of you know what. So the guy brought me a couple images of things that have been done on other bikes and t-shirts, but the thing was I didn't copy that one. I did my own skull, my own flag shaping, my own curl, my own variant in that theme. So that's kind of how I came up with this one. So that's something for you guys download this one. Take it, learn from it, use it, and then if you're gonna like do a ton of these, that's put your own spin on it, your own take. That's how you develop as an artist, and is by taking these techniques that guys like me and like Dan and everyone are showing, and then putting your own twist on it, putting your own stank on it. This is always the part of teaching where it's tough, because I try to do as much freehand here as I can, because what I find when you start freehanding, you start getting rid of that plotted masking edge. When the clear goes on this too, man, it's just gonna pop. But see, by working slow, I'm still keeping detail. I'm still keeping tone up in the eye, even though this eye socket is getting deeper and deeper. You still see the white coming in. Now, Big Poppy was our player. Our Red Sox. He's the one and only. And man, I got to meet him. What a nice guy. What I always liked about this one too, if you're into the band Kiss, this reminds me of Kiss. Because the star is just over that one eye. But this has no relation to Kiss. Before Gene Simmons decides to come after me.
The Kiss skull would be cool. But...
Yeah, I won't do anything with Kiss because you have to. He will sue anyone for any remote thought of licensing violation.
Oh yeah, like if you could ever like get the permission to do one, that would be cool.
Yeah, I know people that work with him. I could make phone calls, but by the time he got his cut, it wouldn't be worth painting it.
Oh no.
Tim, what's going on, man? Thank you for popping in. So right now the background is just that nice blue pearl, but I think when it's over I'm just going to take, because I have one of these, that's a perfect silhouette, I think I'm just going to take as a loose and do like a nice kind of, just a nice glow in the background. I think it would be really, really cool. And then depending on the poll, we'll see which flag I do next, and I'll add that to the how-to video.
So far, it is USA.
The USA. That's not surprising.
No.
And I didn't want to do because I knew that was going to be what I'm going to do a bunch.
Irish is second.
Not enough Scotsman in here.
No. Well, Scottish wasn't an option.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, that's right. I didn't put that on there. They only gave me 4 options. I was going to put the whole list to see which one was
I'm
which.
Irish, though, so, you know. We do have Irish in our family.
Yes. Yes, we do. All right. And that's pretty much the skull. Now it's time for everyone's worst parts. Is the teeth. Okay. That's 20... Yeah. A lot of great ones in Boston. He was just, so, having met him, and I met the whole 2004, 2005 team, because I did a bike for them. So I met the whole group of idiots. He was amazing. Martinez we couldn't meet because he was going through drama at that stage. When wasn't he? David Wells, pitcher, he was awesome to hang out with. So many good guys. Alright, so what I do for the teeth, I've talked about this before. I come from that center and I go dagger stroke up, and then I kind of just loop around and make the socket and come up. Make sure your brushes dial in really nice. Come up. And this center, this is still masked. So I can start on the mask and do nice dagger strokes right up the teeth. And I can tone these side ones down. Dagger stroke, dagger stroke, dagger, dagger. So I tone the left and right, so that lets the center pop out more. And then we do the bottom. Soft dagger strokes down. Come around the sides. And if you're not comfortable airbrushing, get a brush out. Use a brush. Use a paint pen. Whatever you want to do to get to this detail level. And don't try to rush it. Take your time. Make sure your brush is working really good. Like we're starting to get a little bit more hot up here in the studio. And when it's hot, I can feel the paint change. So you got to adjust. Dagger, 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 dagger. Come up, come up, come up, come up, come up. And then I do some nice dagger strokes down from the teeth just to kind of bring out those sockets. A little bit of contour shading in here. And when I pull this mask, you'll see these teeth are nice and bright. But I can still tone the bottom a little bit. I still have my masking here, so I can do a lot of little rat tail details and little things. Core shadows. Just start understanding your skull. And I can actually leave the rest till like I pull the mask and see what I need to balance. I'm going to zoom out here. And that's the 90% point. So now we get to pull the mask. See what it looks like. I'm going to add a little more shading because I want it to pop. Thank you, honey. If I think it right, I think honey's set the card high.
Okay. Yeah, 450, I believe. I haven't seen any other bids, and I've been like scrolling back through just in case. But.
Okay. All right. Ready for the next Christmas? Oh, shit. Kaylee, can you get that for me, please? Like dropping microns.
Is the pin okay?
Yeah, the needle looks fine. Glad I put the soft flooring down in here.
Yeah. That saved us a few times.
All right. And I think I'll definitely do another one of these on a white panel and show you the opposite way to do things with the flag, and I'll do a different country's flag. I'll do a couple of these. And now, you get to see. You know what? If I'll cut this. I'll go all the way around. Whoa!
Let's not break anything.
Look at that. No vent needle, luckily. I got a 1-inch thick padded flooring in here. JC Taz, welcome down and dirty trickster. Yeah, it's Puerto Rican food. We have a really great restaurant.
I love Puerto Rican food so much.
Right up the road from us. I think it's a mother and son,
It's
grandson
so
and grandmother.
good. We get it like every
Every couple weeks.
Like we used to get it like once a week, but like
It started getting excessive.
yeah.
Alright, I'm going to pull the center. Look at that. See how those teeth just pop? And then again, what I typically do here is I take a tack rag, get all your edges, make sure nothing's loose. And look at that. That thing is just popping. Let's go to a 3/4 view. You can almost like reach under it and grab it. Looks awesome. So now what I'm going to do, just to give it a little flare, I think I just want to do like a little up the center, just to like a center glow. With like red and blue. Kind of like a fire. I need to get back to my thicker white. This is totally optional. I just want to give it a little something around the edges. Just so it's not just a floating skull. Thanks, guys. Just a little bit of blue. I think that'll be the trick. I don't want to do red out there. I think blue to blue will just get a nice bright center here. I'll just set off the red nice against the other blue. Michael, thank you very much. Alright, so same thing. I'm just going to take this blue, go off here. Just enough to give it a lift. Yeah, that looks cool. Just that little bit of glow. Do a little dot. Burst. Bright white up that center. Actually, we'll do a little splat. That looks cooler. A little pull back on the needle. We'll do just a little bit inside. A little bit of effect. A little bit of effect. Background is optional, whatever you guys want to do. I think that just set it off really nice. I'm going to pop this a little bit. And this is where you would pop in any final highlights, anything like that. Or if you're unsure of your ability and you want to try some things. We talked about this last week about Rod Fuchs. I would clear this, sand it, then go... Ooh, sorry. I would clear this, sand it, and then go back through and do any like crazy highlight things or tricks you want to try, anything like that. But now I'll go through... And I'll brighten up some teeth. I'll brighten up these cheekbones a little bit. Brighten up this nose just a hair. You know, this little guy here. A little bit more on the forehead just to give that pop. I would just go around and try a few things. Like I said, if you want, you can always wait till after and see if you think it needs something anywhere else. Wait till your paint's dyed in really nice. these cracks in the head. Irish flag next, so I can enjoy some shepherd's pie. Well, we'll see what the polls are coming out next. I got a feeling I'm going to eventually do all of them, which would be really cool, and just have this whole collection set actually painted. But that's really it, man. That's, you know, you could do more glow off to the side if you want. I think this is like just perfect where it is. I don't think it needs any more. You can even, I can tone a little bit of blue over the star a little bit and just tone it so it has a little something. So it's like a little blue tone to that. Just kind of cool off the sides a little bit. But I like this little just pop. I think it looks really, really cool. What do y'all think? Y'all like it? Yeah, Michael, this whole background is flaked. This is already a blue pearl flake. So it's gonna sparkle like crazy. I don't wanna juice it just yet and kind of have an issue with it. But yeah, if I have my phone, I wonder if we can see it here. Yeah, you can't really see the flake in there, but it's the whole background's already flaked, so it's gonna look cool. So remember, that's where we started. That's the vector set. That was the reference we did a couple years ago. If you look at the title screen, those are all the different skull options you can do, and many, many more. And that, kids, is where we ended up. And just in time, I'm going to run out of recording, so we're going to wrap this thing up.
Good timing.
My God. I want to thank everyone for popping in for this special new release of the Skull Revolution vector set. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you all the new members for coming in. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson, this how-to. I'm going to be recording some more footage and mix and match it into a full how-to that's a little bit more condensed down for you guys to follow along. Thank you everyone who's already downloaded it. If you need any help, feel free to give me a buzz. Message me if you get stuck. If there's any things that need correcting, let me know. Thank you everyone for, like I said, the super chats, the bids. Honey, we'll talk later. We'll get this over to you. We'll get this all cleared up. I'll probably try to clear it this weekend. And maybe I'll do a quick demo on polishing and wet sanding and things like that with this. I think it'll be kind of cool to go through it. But thank you everyone for loving this project. Reach out what you want to see more of. And I will see you all next week. And thank you all the new members. And we're going to see what we can do to make that even more worth your while. See you all next week on Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Have a good night. See ya.
Yeah, it was honey.
Yeah.
450, including her.
450 was including hers.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, how many people?